Oh, I just had to refresh the screen and now it works. Simple enough. Hi, everybody. Happy Saturday. I'm looking at my lighting situation because when I go from a photo booth view to this view, there's a different change in lighting. So immediately I'm like, this is good. It is a little bit of a lazy Saturday, which is fine. How are you all feeling? I see that Flint Westwood could use some prayers. He says he thinks someone's doing witchcraft on his family, and I'm not, that stuff is out there, and I don't believe they communicate with anything good. So, hi, Grace. How are you? How's it going? How's Saturday going for everybody? Lazy day too? Mm-hmm. Good. Yeah, I don't, Corey says, I'm Orthodox. Can you help me pray the rosary? I think it's beautiful. Yes. This live stream, I'm a little bit too tired to pray it today, at this moment at least. So there are previous videos where I walk through the rosary, and then one day I'm sure we'll do another rosary live, so just stay tuned in the future for that. Hi, Connor Taylor. Oh, cool. Thanks for stopping by to say hi. It's 11 p.m. in France, and the day is ending. Saturday is ending in France for our friend Turold. Oh, I missed you. Thank you. Yeah. Coming on here, there's a lot of mental blocks to coming on live. A surprising high amount from every type of fear to every type of insecurity, all these things, But I just want to come on here, say yes, we're still doing well, and we're still Catholic, and we're still hopeful, and content and peaceful amid everything that's happening. I do think it's important, even if I don't have a huge amount to say, to keep showing up in some form over the years. So here I am. Whatever contribution to the faith this might be, big or small. Hi, Tradney. Tradney was one of the first people ever to watch my videos 10 years ago. Was it really 10 years? Yeah, 10 years ago. Back when I had 10 views per video. Tradney was one of those views. I'm still currently fascinated with the topic of not just pride, but ego, because I don't believe everybody in a state of higher ego is doing so very consciously. I believe sometimes we have a big revelation that causes a fall through of the ego, or a dropping out of it, or a death of it, that we kind of don't even notice till we're sitting outside the current, so to speak, and looking in and saying, wow, I remember when I was in that phase, or I was in that state of self-focus. There's a lot of self-focus, good and bad, in the world, and some of it's needed to get people from point A to point B, especially if they're in a bad situation. And then some of it's used to really, really get ahead in life. It's not bad to do that, but I do like to reference that everything that is done without love is a mistake, which sounds really like a broad statement, like, gee, everything? Yeah, at the root, if you go deep down to the foundation of that statement and deep down to every little thing you do, there's usually a motivation from even just simple self care, self love, doing the smallest thing for yourself in the morning, whether it's drinking that cup of water so you feel good and so you can feel well for everyone you have to interact with and help them and be able to help them by taking care of yourself, all that. Grace says prayers and greatly appreciated. I lost my job the week before Christmas, and due to restrictions where I live, the economy is absolutely terrible, and the job search has not been very successful. Oh man, the week before Christmas. So let's figure a week before Christmas. Everybody's probably already checked out of the office. They're leaving. It's January 29th now, so you've been like about a month since you lost this job. I can tell you it usually takes, if I'm in between a job, it takes about 2 to sometimes 3 months before I'm in the office somewhere else. And but it's kind of inevitable. You will be picked up eventually, but it's just so hard when you're in that stage of it's not happening yet, it's not happening. I have bills, etc. So we do pray that Grace can find something nice, something with a good environment for her, something that's not overwhelmingly stressful, something that's not something that adds to her life in some way, if possible. Sometimes we all just gotta work a job we hate, but we can pray that she finds a nice job. Leonard, it's Sunday here in New Zealand. I'm not going to Mass as I live with vulnerable people, so you coming online for Rosary Day is perfect. Oh no, Leonard, I wish I was saying a rosary today. I'm too tired to do so. I have a little bit of pain today going on, so hopefully we'll get figured out what that's caused by. But you can tell I'm a little quiet and hunched over today, so I can't stay long. But I got all ready to go and make a video, and so I tried to follow through with that, um, despite it being sometimes very draining to even hit record, which I don't want to admit. But once I am actually on the screen and it's rolling, I'm happy that I did it because I get to talk to all of you. One thing I was thinking about 2 days ago was what is the advantage of somebody who has, who is quote unquote not as intelligent as some people out there in the world? We obviously can see there are people very intelligent who work for NASA who get a lot of stuff done. And then we can see there are even very good teachers who are super, super smart. There's all different levels of intelligence, but I'm almost wondering in what way. Now, I'm not saying God gave them a level of intelligence that was lower, but what God does is He gives us everybody, He gives us every living thing in abundance, and we get more and more and more of it. And we still get more babies to this day. We still get more trees to this day, no matter how badly we may treat both of those things. But if He gives you a brain, and if He gives you one that is even quote unquote below average, how does God use that to your advantage? How does that become an advantage through God and through grace? To the point where it's not just a lack, but it's become an advantage for you in some way. So, let's say you have a very short amount of time that thoughts stick in your head. You're on to the next thought very, very quickly. So you don't really sit on thoughts for a long time and complete them over a long time. You don't have point A, B, C, D, E, F to G to a thought. You just have point A and then it fades away. And then point A again and then it fades away. I don't know if this makes sense. But if you have very short-lived thoughts, I can see where there can be an advantage to that, especially if you have kind of a short-term memory, then things, that you don't wish to think about a lot that maybe weren't happy thoughts or weren't happy things in your life, you don't think about them as often because your mind thinks of so many other things, um, so quickly that you don't dwell on it very long. I don't know. I've been thinking lately about what the advantage of the smaller, the slower, the shorter intellect is in the eyes of God. I wrote something. I said, could there be an advantage to being the least intelligent in a room? How can a level of intelligence be a unique gift from God? And when I say, I don't think that's a gift from God. I think God can use that or make something great out of anything small given to him. So that's how I would rewrite that. There are things the world praises, but I wonder what advantage there are spiritually to the people who do not have what the world prizes. Sure, they suffer in light of peers who admire stronger traits, but outside of that, what do those with less intelligence gain? There are many ways a person can appear less intelligent. One way is the inability to focus one thought process and complete it over a long period of time. I can only do this minutes after I have had a coffee in the morning, have long, extended, completed thoughts. And call it a stimulant effect or whatever you want, but the rest of the day, my thoughts, though many and though deep, are short and fleeting. I have always seen it as a kind of personal miracle when I talked nonstop in a video for 10 minutes, if that. It amazes me because I cannot usually do that without a script unless I am very upset or passionate over some injustice. Then I can kind of go on and on. If I am calmly speaking on a chosen subject, it is difficult to talk for a long time. Here's something else I wrote this week. Oh, let's actually go and look at these comments really quick. Hi, Preston. Thanks for coming on. Thank you, Flint. And hi, Catholic Inspiration. Hello. Tradney says he has ADHD, so his brain is basically screaming post-it notes everywhere. Yes, Catholic Inspiration says one of the advantages I've seen is that the people have a different perspective of the world and different talents that they offer. That's so true. Just judging someone by their intellect alone is that's a very surface level way to look at somebody. Sometimes they've done great, wonderful, good, kind things. Sometimes, sadly a lot, says Steve, we over-intellectualize things. Yes. Michael McEvoy? Hello from Ireland. Renee, great to see you again. Will you be doing anything special for the Feast of Our Lady of Lords? I should, shouldn't I? Thank you for reminding me. I'll think about that. Cyber 160 says maybe less intelligence means you don't get as prideful in it. I really, really, really agree. I've known a lot of intelligent people who are pretty full of themselves in college who have the wisdom of a fortune cookie. I always liked that, the fact that you could pray for wisdom and get it. You can get wisdom if you pray for it. I do believe that. I was told that at some point, and I believed it. It's a good thing to pray for. It's not selfish to pray for wisdom because if you become a candle of wisdom in your environment, everyone benefits. And another possible answer from Justin says it's a unique cross that God gives us if we are less intelligent. Hi, Lorena. Burnt chicken nugget. My kids changed my profile on YouTube, so now it's burnt chicken nugget. That looks like the kids definitely changed your profile name. I believe that. Uh, let's see. No. Daniel says, yesterday's gospel of its own accord, the land yields fruit. Perhaps we all have different fruit to yield / offer. Absolutely. Let's see. I wrote something else yesterday. I have not reread these, so it's just gonna read them straight up and edit as I read if I said something wrong. Someone tell me how to overcome the hypocritical feeling of writing and speaking on God. Step 1. Obliterate any thoughts that I am writing to the people so they like me or make me, make me lift me up, make me saint or something. Step 2. Obliterate the thought that me at my highest height of morality is something I can easily do if I just will it alone, and that God isn't truly the one lifting me out and up with my will on the side. Step 3. Obliterate the thought that I am set apart from the human experience with a more fortunate upbringing and higher expectation upon me, not subject to falling short, nor subject to the consequences of others' sin just the same. No, I suffer from it too. I am subject to human error and the consequences of it all around us just as much as you. I'm subject to my own human error too. Step 4. Oh my gosh. Step 4, shut up and write. Like, stop, don't even think about it so much. The unintentional strategy of disappearing and reappearing online has been beneficial. Though I could help people by being online more often and consistently posting, it's just not possible for me, I wrote. It's true. Even if you've watched my rosary live streams for a while, you can tell I'm kind of emotional and I go like this. And that's every day. And stress really easily affects me as a person. So I'm very delicate with myself and very careful so that I can be happy and healthy and not too stressed. So when I have people from my life who maybe still watch these videos after I've cut them out of my life, like previous employers, for example, it's kind of stressful for me to then go online when I'm trying to now live a private life from people that I don't wish to interact with anymore. You guys I wish to interact with. I mean, this is amazingly positive influence on my life. But sometimes when you've been on here since you were 16 years old, you know what's through the screen, good and bad, quite vividly by this time. So I do think I have a valid stress around it. But it's not one that should keep me from ever posting. So I fight through it. But I do so when I am able and when it's going to be a happy thing for me and not when it's going to be a very stressful thing for me. So I go on when I'm happy and well and able to converse gladly with all of you. And I don't know. Cyber 160, what do you mean by hypocritical in this context? Good question. Let's see. It's easy to be hypocritical from being grumpy, from being using crass language or consuming junk television, bullying other people behind their back, saying things about so and so and the other, like being frustrated with the way things are to a point of inner bitterness that makes you kind of judge a lot and makes you consume things out of just comforting yourself in this harsh world we live in. The human experience overall can be hypocritical when talking about giving up those comforts, when talking about loving everyone, and when talking about making sacrifices you know? So, let's see if I missed anything. You thought of me the other day, Ed. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you. Oh, thank you. I have a sense of calmness. That's good. I really hope I can bring that because I could just make straight up content, but I think the actual emotions are important to convey. And the emotions that happen going through a life of faith is important to convey. So even if this isn't the type of content that's going to generate a lot of views because it's entertaining, I like to say I'm playing the long game. I'm putting my actual emotions and thoughts in this online diary, sort of. And so what I've left behind is really a true piece of myself. It can't be replicated, and that would be treasured because it's honest. And without honesty, we just kind of have the motions. We go through the motions and we go through the steps, and we're told the steps of the faith. We're told the motions of the faith. We're told other people's conversion stories even, but what about just filming a quiet Saturday? What about a video that's not trying to achieve something in the here and now? I'm documenting something long term, I think. Okay. Thank you, Armando. Thank you, Maria. Hi, Penguin Baby 117. It's nice to have you if you're new. Welcome. Okay, let's see what else I've written. Oh, hi, Tim. Ooh. I don't know what this is. Let's see. Let's read it. It says, my mind swirls with a passion for defending the bits of goodness in this world that I believe are no longer cherished by society. I have to guard myself against hatred and mean comments about those on the other side of an issue, and see them as God's loved ones, even if they live their lives with the purpose to blot out values I so desperately love and know are true. I do not believe happiness is to be found in a society of my perfect values either. Like a perfect utopia, I know I won't find happiness even if this world was a perfect utopia of my values. But I still believe there is a right and wrong. So I'll step back one. If the law of the land is my preferred law, or what I believe is true, it's just the law. It doesn't cure human error. It just means everyone's judged by that law now. But it's not going to lead to perfect happiness in the society, is what I mean. Could it lead to more happiness? Yeah, I do believe it would, but I still believe there is a right and a wrong amid human error in the world. We'll never have a perfect society here. It upsets me, but there's no need to mumble about others in a mean fashion because of that. We disagree, but we are at the same mercy of God. I will be judged. Now, this is not to say I should do nothing to pursue and defend truth. It's just the most outspoken among us are aggressive and turn my stomach compared to the ones who speak from a deep caring for humanity and for those on the other side of an issue. That can sound like I'm being really, to put it very bluntly, a sensitive woman who thinks we should just hug and love everybody even if we disagree with them in this perfect, peaceful, hippie world, but no. I'm not saying that. I'm saying when I hear these people talk, I hear no love. None. So, I always reference St. Catherine of Siena's letters to the Pope, who was not a good Pope, and he wasn't even living in Rome at the time. And the way she writes to him is so wise. And the underlying tone is love. She did it somehow. If St. Catherine can do it, if St. Catherine can do it, we can do it. It's like, but she's St. Catherine. Why does that mean I can do it? You can, because St. Catherine was a human being, and so are we, and you and me. You can put an underlying tone of love always, always. And I don't hear it in the most outspoken of my views out there in media. I don't hear it. I just hear aggression, and it turns my stomach. I know they're mad. I know they're upset. I know they're losing, they feel the morality battle. But they're going down in a ball of disturbing, hateful poison. I don't know. If I detect hate for the other side as someone preaches, I detect rot and stench. I detect decay. I see death and the language of death spewing from them. I see poison. I do not see a person who loves me, but a person who loves himself and his view of the world. If you are loving a higher truth in person, Jesus, your ego is not involved. And if your ego is not involved, the words you use will change because you become a public servant, not a public hitman for your values. For hire by the people who agree with the same values, sending you out to, quote, attack with your smart, quick brain and blunt verbiage. You can have blunt verbiage. But when I say blunt, I mean it comes forth from the brain and nothing is detected from the heart. Podcast focused on content, literally spewing from the brain, can be helpful and full of facts, but then fall short in that the listener will never feel like you love or care for them in any way at the end of the day. The viewer or listener will be in love with the utopia preached about, but you, as the preacher, won't connect through any sort of love with your viewer. Where is God then in your voice? And if not God, then who is in your voice but you alone? And if it is only you alone, then we are presented with a talking ego that has not died as it probably should have to enter the kingdom of heaven. The end. So I must have wrote that on 2 cups of coffee because that was the longer one. Let's go back to the comments now. Lorena Wells' daughter, you are, Penguin? Oh, awesome. Thanks for joining the stream. I wish I was doing something fun to be more entertaining now that I have new guests. Larry. Oh, I do like Jordan Peterson. He's a pretty smart guy. He's very, very smart. I've learned a lot from him, regardless. Yeah. Thank you, Larry. Leonard says, what we do on earth echoes in eternity. Mm-hmm. Chris says, St. Francis de Sales today. His joyful demeanor and love of the faith drew many. Oh, and Chris claims I share those realities with all of us. Well, isn't that sweet? Thank you. Thank you. Burnt Chicken Nugget says, so true. People are allowing the world to dictate to them what's morally right without question and questioning the empirical truths of the church. Tradney says it doesn't help that some people not involved with either side like to instigate or aggravate conflict and divisions. Oh, Penguin Baby says, my channel needs more love, and put a heart. Well, it looks like you were the person to bring it. Thank you for bringing the love. The problem in today's world is that people worry about the horizontal instead of the vertical. Yep. I get what you're saying. Maria says that the truth should always be spoken in love. Right. Because truth and love are of the same source. They are the same person. So if you're on truth, you are on love. You are logged on to both. You can't have one without the other, unless the other isn't far behind. It's kind of like the converts. Like you have the converts learning truth, and then the love hits them and kind of finishes the job, and they make it to heaven. Hi, Jared. Hello, 117 Rebel. Please pray for my husband, Kevin. He has stage 4 cancer and is struggling, staying close to God through it all. Through it all. That's so... How long have you and your husband been married? I'm just curious. I want to know about your story. Okay. Blessings to those who choose life and reject abortion, and prayers for those who choose abortion as an option. And pray for those who choose abortion as an option instead of life, says Armando. I just wish more people believed there was a right and a wrong in the first place. It's so funny how people who don't believe in right and wrong, it seems like it's come from being burned by something that happened to them that was wrong in the past, that now they don't believe in God because they were wronged. Well, and now they just they don't think there's right and wrong after being wronged. It's always funny because you can go deep down to the base truth that they actually believe, and then slowly build up from there until they know there's a right and wrong. But people don't want to do the building. They don't want to say, hey, if this is actually right and wrong, then maybe this is right and wrong, and then this is right and wrong, and therefore this is right and wrong, and then you get all the right and wrongs eventually when you're starting from like 0 to 1, one wrong. So it's funny when I truly believe that if you don't think there's right and wrong, I truly believe you have not even tried. Not only to look inward, but you have not experienced any shame, which is something you don't experience if you are very prideful. Pride is known, as Andrew Clavin once said, to block out shame. And what brings shame? Right and wrong. Okay, 27 years. 27 years married, her and her husband. I will say a prayer for them right now, and I know there are other prayers to include, so I'll keep those in my heart too. In the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Blessed Mother, please keep your mantle over her and her husband and all those in the family who are experiencing this illness. Through your Immaculate Heart, may an immense amount of good come from this tragedy. And may God win with every soul involved, experiencing the sadness, experiencing the loss, and experiencing the pain. May God win with every soul involved. We may not always win the body here on earth, but we can always ask and pray that God save the soul. Amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Okay. Hi, Maria H. Thank you. I'm glad I can give you that. All I really want is calm and peace. And Padre Pio said, never lose your inner peace over anything. He said, over anything, ever. Cling to it. It is so important to have your inner peace. So you think of everything happening around us, and then you see the world falling over, catching on fire, people running crazy, and then you see Padre Pio standing perfectly still in the center of it, just calm. That's how I see inner peace. It just surpasses anything that could be happening in the world and happening around us. It transcends, because quite frankly, you're that in love with the Lord and his ways and his promises and his heaven, and you believe it. And suddenly you're already halfway taken up there and taken out of this craziness a little bit. And I used to say being Catholic is like having 2 feet on the ground and your head in the clouds, you know. Why did Young Catholic Generation disband? The amount of people moved away. It's hard to find people who consistently want to be as devoted to it as the original group was. So we ran out of people that were all in the same place. Ask them if it's right to tell others there is no right or wrong. Are they right in saying there is no right or wrong? That's funny. This is a good one. People seem to struggle with the concept of divine suffrage, says Bert Chicken Nugget. The path to heaven paved with crosses. People really struggle with this concept. They tend to think God is cruel for people suffering. It's sad. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I always think of the fishbowl that everybody's sins within the fishbowl just kind of bounce around the fishbowl and hit the other fish who didn't even commit that sin. And not even sins, even if it's just some bad water that somebody drank one day and they got a disease and they didn't even know. You know, so many crazy things that happen almost at random just because things are swimming around in this fishbowl and hitting people who are completely innocent. Even genetic defects, people who are completely innocent didn't ask for them, it was just passed down. But what does God do? He gives us more and more people. He gives us more nature, he gives us more weather, he gives us more life. He's the giver. He keeps giving, even though things in this world come through imperfectly because of sin. And because things are made of material and they crumble and fall apart, as is their essence. Okay. You miss me saying the rosary with all of you. I know, Justin, I miss it too. I'm in a recovery mode from a high-stress year, 2020 to 2021, and I'm still recovering, I would say. So my tolerance for stress is slowly building back up, so we're getting there. Who knows what the future holds, Justin? I just pray I can keep doing what I am able to do and more. So it's something to see, as in the future will show us what I am capable of with God. I don't know what it is yet. I'll keep trying, just like you try every day. I'll keep trying too. Ah. Ace Raphael says, "Does anyone else feel significantly less ambitious in life after starting to take your faith seriously? I have no idea what to do." Yes, me, right here. I feel less ambitious whenever I'm very much feeling. Truth is always foundational to my life, but when I have a rise in feelings towards God and the faith, I feel less ambitious. It's very funny because what I'm doing is I'm not thinking of excelling myself, and sometimes it's just myself there's a danger of it dropping out completely, which is why the saints say you have to not look like you're fasting. Don't do that. Wash your face, put on clothes that are nice and presentable and respectful for others around you. So it's like the care of the self suddenly comes from a totally different source. It's not coming from chasing something and trying to achieve something, that you dress really nice and that you work out and that you I don't know, clean your house to a T. You're not trying to gain something. You're not trying to social climb anymore. That's gone. That goal is completely gone. So now you're like sitting here with all these improvements you usually did for yourself, and you don't know how to do those same things, like clean your house, take care of your appearance, and go to work and make more money at work. You're like, what do I root? What do I use as the foundation of doing those things now? Because it used to be to gain, 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 gain. How in the world do I get used to doing those things out of love of others and a self-love that mimics the love Jesus has for me? How do I be almost like my own best friend in taking care of my basic needs? And then how do I go out and give with just as much momentum to the world as I went out to gain from it before? I still am working on this because it's very tough without the original gain ambition to do a lot of the same things to the same extent with the same energy, because suddenly you're doing it out of love, which feels fluffy and weak and timid and quiet, and it's not really the playlist you want when you're trying to lift weights. So lifting weights is much easier when you're saying, I'm gonna look better than so and so, and I'm gonna get this promotion at the front desk gym job that I have, which I don't have, but I'm just making up a scenario. It's like that's the kind of self-talk that builds muscle, so to speak. So now you have this self-talk that's like, you're gonna work out because it'll give you some dopamine, make you a happier person to be around, and because you'll be healthier. It'll build up your bones and your muscles, and you'll look nice to people who have to interact with you, and they'll appreciate that in a respectful way, not over the top nice. But yeah, there is a shift that happens. And when this shift from gain to give first happens, there's this drop off of energy where you're like, I used to get my energy from my ego. Now it's not there. What do I use to not be a complete potato now? So. Hi, Alliance Heart. Hello, good afternoon to you too. You've been praying for me and my family. Well, I can tell you I and my family appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We should pray with our heart more than our mouth. Yes. Rocking Horse Winner. Yes. Oh, yes. A constant conversation of the heart with God every day. We should tie him to our inner conscience all the time, as if we are on the phone in our head with him about many, many little things, even if they don't seem to be of a great grandeur and holy thought. It could just be, well, God, I'm going to go get my cup of coffee and come back to my desk now. Well, God, it looks like I forgot my keys at home. Well, God, I'm going to interact with this coworker and I'm going to make it a pleasant interaction. It's just like connecting him to it. And you don't have to say, well, God, before everything either. You can just picture him watching you. That's connecting. Picturing him watching you in a very loving way and being absolutely fascinated by you. Hey, Harley. Jamie M., what is your favorite Catholic joke? Oh, man, there's so many. Gosh, I don't know. Favorite Catholic joke? Oh, there've been so many over time, but the only one I can think of immediately is the what do you call a sleepwalking nun? A Roman Catholic. I think of that one. Don't worry if you are mocked for your faith. Remember, they nailed truth to a cross. Yep, it don't get easier. No, and I'm not laughing comedically. I'm laughing just at it's true. Okay. Marshmount says, yo, let's go, in caps. Hey, Fossil Croc, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed going through the old videos. Yeah, they're old. They are something to sit through. They're old, and some of them are cringy. But I did it. That's 10 years of videos. I go back a long time. So it is interesting to see the mental progress, the pilgrim's progress, except I'm not a pilgrim, or else I would be called a reborn Puritan, not reborn pure. Let's see. It skipped down. God is gracious. Giovanni says, thank you for your rosary prayers. I was in the Protestant tradition and was very wary of the rosary until I came across your channel and watched it. I have since came to the Catholic faith. Wow. I think of when they said something like introducing people to the rosary is a really good thing to do. So, wow, that's... I hear that quote and then I see the actual fruits happen and I'm still floored. Thank you, Giovanni, for taking the time to write a message to tell me that. Thank you. I'm happy to have been part of your conversion in some small way, especially if it's to do with the rosary. Okay. True humility is the only antidote to shame, end quote. Yes. Yep. Robert Martin, nice to see you on. Nice to see you in the chat, Robert. Thank you. Ed says, deep thought, just thought about what Padre Pio said. Never lose inner peace. He did not say outer peace. At times he would whip people with his rope when they tried to cut it off of him for a relic. People tried to take Padre Pio's robe and take pieces of it off for relics. That is too funny. I did not know that. Brendan. Any addiction is incredibly difficult to overcome. So I'm going to keep your dad, in my prayers especially. I can't promise that such a thing will solve itself. But I do promise that you have the ability to, through God, bring good out of going through that. There are people who go through things that are really just destroyed by them, and something like that, it can destroy you. And there are people who come out of it and help other people who've gone through it or become an even stronger version of, who they look up to, their dad. Your dad couldn't be perfect. but he has you. I feel like there was one guy I knew who had this father who was very abusive. This guy's like almost 70 now. But he said, I think, as abusive as my dad was, I think God gave me my dad because God knew, out of all those sons out there, God knew that I would forgive him even if he wasn't sorry. You know? So maybe in a way, your dad may receive mercy and grace from God through the fact that you are his son and God gave him you. You never know. But I don't know your scenario and I won't speak on it further out of respect, so I'll keep your dad in my prayers. Hi, Caitlin. I'm well. Thank you for asking. Okay. Have I ever come across doubts about God or the Bible? I have come across times where I was under such a huge amount of stress and fear that I began to rely on myself purely for survival and immediate comforts, as opposed to being a servant of God, full time. I started to just rely on myself to the point that I looked in the mirror and I realized I am serving just myself. And I was under such a high amount of stress, I kept on that path. And when I finally got up the miraculous strength to get out of that scenario, that high stress environment, my whole body just relaxed. I didn't feel like I had to constantly defend, constantly survive. I became calmer, I became nicer, I became kinder when I got out of the stressful scenario. This is fortunately it wasn't like a relationship or anything like that. That can be even more messy. But I got out of the scenario and was able to actually use and hear my conscience louder than I had in a while I was in that scenario. Sometimes you get so stressed that you get kind of angry and self-reliant to, instead of blaming yourself for getting in that scenario in the first place. See, this is sounding like my own therapy office, so that's but I have had times where I was just angry and stressed, and that can kind of cut me off from my pleasant communication with God, if you understand. But he sees me through all of it. He's watching, and he was waiting for me to turn around and say, wait. And eventually I turned around and I said, wait. I felt like I was at the brink of losing my childhood self. And it came down to one decision one day. And I told everything else, I told it. And I remember even yelling in my apartment. I said, no, I choose. Sounds funny. I said, I choose Renee. And everything that she is in God and was meant to be. The way she jokes and makes puns. The way she likes to write little stories and poems. her sense of humor, everything that I finally saw what was lovable in myself and not in worth keeping and not throwing away for some silly ambitions of the world. In social climbing or career climbing, I saw career climbing and I saw myself. I saw social climbing and I saw myself. And there was this big moment where I chose myself in a fit of exhaustion. And that is why you see me today. And I'm still going forward because I finally said no to pursuing just the wrong things because I realized it required a sacrifice of who I'm supposed to be in God and who I was born as. And I never felt younger. I felt 4 years younger instantly. It was crazy. I recognized myself again. I didn't doubt God or the Bible. But I doubted the necessity of Him in my daily life. Every single day for the rest of my life. I doubted that necessity when I was just focusing on my own self-survival. I said, I got this, So that would be an example of a time of doubt. And to answer that question, I know it's not godly, but I still use pride to motivate myself. There is an element of control that can be had over a sprinkling of pride here and there. I don't really believe in a sprinkling of pride here and there, but I believe in a harnessing of the ego. Because if you haven't necessarily completely killed it off, because maybe God's still in the process of that, to get certain things done, sorry, there's a loud truck outside, to get certain things done, maybe you're in the gym and you need to have a good workout, so you start thinking like, oh, I'm the super strong person, I'm awesome, I can lift so much more than that, and you're like pumping yourself up. I still think you can do that through viewing yourself as your best friend, somebody who cares and loves you and does want to see you achieve, doesn't want to see you be unhappy. It doesn't want to see you rot away sitting on a couch as a potato. That's what I mean. So, but just remember, even when you feel that bit of pride that you claim you have to use it to motivate yourself, even when you feel that, everything done without love is a mistake. If you're working out in the gym and you're thinking you're looking good and everything and you want to keep looking good, well, think of, this might be funny, but think of doing it for your future wife. Think of doing it for your future kids, that you'll be around a long time because you have this healthy lifestyle. Think that you're being an example of Christianity in the gym, among maybe many egos in that environment. But you are different. You have a different end goal in mind, which is up there. But it doesn't mean you can't be out there evangelizing to different groups in the gym. I don't know. Let's see. Caitlin Jude. Oh, I'm so glad. Like I said, to be part of any, in any small way to someone's view of Catholicism in a positive light because of the truth it contains is I'm super touched and honored and not even touched and honored. It's like it just makes me see how God goes through people. All he needs is my will, and he goes through me. So it's still him getting the credit for your conversion, but it's cool to know he went through me at some point when you discovered some videos of mine. Let's see. Thank you, Brendan. They help more than you know. I'll never know. Not now. I'll never know what my words mean. Not in, maybe in little ways, in little messages, but I'll never know. Not here, not now. Maybe someday I'll know. Maybe someday he'll let me know. But it's funny because I know it's. I am just allowing him. I'm allowing God in. So even my words are not fully my own. I can't take full credit, But I'm not going to immediately deny all credit and be annoying and say like, oh, well, it's not me, really, no. I don't do anything good. I am terrible. That's kind of really annoying, so I won't do that. I'll just say thank you. Thank you, and I'm happy to help. Okay. All I want is a room somewhere far away from the cold night air, and one big comfy chair. Oh, wouldn't it be lovely? Okay, prayers for those, but yeah. You say my puns are exceptional. Thank you. I have so much fun with puns. Sometimes we feel angry, sad, looking for isolation and God's consolation, but we need to recover and find how our minds will be stronger in times of tribulation. Oh, Sanctissima, oh, Let's go sing O Sanctissima together. Let's do rosary and pray for Ukraine. Really, we should pray for Ukraine. That'd be a good idea to do a rosary. I know the president of Ukraine came out and said, stop using panic language, U.S. press. We're not. The president of Ukraine got mad at the West for inciting panic in their media. So now the Ukrainian president is mad at our media too. It's just so funny. Oh, unbelievably good. Oh, thank you, Jamie. Oh my, it's been an hour, so I think I'm gonna go because I am human and have an energy level. So, and it was kind of low today in general, but I'm glad we got together right now and talked about a lot of things. 44 people. So nice. You brought me closer to Christ and his church a couple years ago, Renee. I needed more than apologetics, and that's where you came in. More than apologetics. That is exactly what I was searching for when I was 15 years old and searched Catholic on YouTube, and all I found was apologetics. I said, where are my Catholic friends online? Now, when I say friends, I mean it. Friendship is what converts hearts. And then apologetics converts a lot of intellectual hearts. What about us less intellectual hearts like me? I'm no C.S. Lewis. I'm no Chesterton. I'm no Scott Hahn. What about me? Should we take seriously those videos that say the war in Ukraine isn't? Yeah. I would look up, Flint, I would look up the message the Ukrainian president has said. Just only listen to what the Ukrainian president says. He says he's being misrepresented. He says, quote, I am actually here. I know what is going on. They don't, end quote. So I'd go read up on what the Ukrainian president has been saying the past week and a half. That'll be your best news, whatever he says. Because it's true. He's there. The West is not, Good seeing you. Good seeing you, Maria, James, Burnt Chicken Nugget, Robert, Migraine scapular. Yay. Trinity, Caitlin, Flint, Tim, Jamie, Valentin. Uh, I went to a high school where we had the traditional Latin Mass every Thursday. I was baptized in the Ukrainian Catholic Rite, Eastern Rite Catholic Church. My mother took us just to the local church growing up, which was just a Roman Rite, Novus Ordo place. And, I have had moments of deep, tearful connection with God in each of those liturgies. When I'm in the Novus Ordo, I think about Christ in the manger among all the animals. And I still find beauty in how he comes down in the nicest of liturgies, and then even maybe the most casual of liturgies where people's cell phones are going off and people's clothes are all sports jerseys and yeah, I see all that. It's like no matter how terrible the environment of a mass might be, occasionally, if you go to a really rough one, it's like I think of the manger scene. I think of baby Jesus coming down to us unworthy people anyway. And it's an amazing thing to think about. And then tradition is so beautiful. It's so moving. It converts a lot of hearts. All right, everybody, God bless you. Good night. And I will keep you in my prayers. Keep me in yours. My family, please. What I mean is especially my grandmother, 93-year-old Shirley. Please pray for her. Yeah. Maybe I'll explain more about her one day, but today's not the day. All right. Thank you. God bless you. And goodbye. Thank you, Dave and Ron. God is gracious. Cyber, Flint, Reese, Tuck, Valantis, Jamie, Diego. Thank you, Diego. Thank you, Chris. Thank you. I'm living this daily life with you. Thank you for living it with me. And thank you so much for trying to be better, trying to be good. Let's keep trying. Bye, Ace. Bye, Caitlin. Bye, Alexander and Leonard. And good night.